Today is the 30th, right? Tomorrow's Halloween. Are y'all going to be dressed up spooky? Am I going to be scared in class tomorrow?
No,
Yeah, I'm gonna dress up.
Boy.
I'm just being Eeyore. That's not very scary.
Oh,
I'm gonna be Billy Loomis.
okay.
He's
So
gonna wear a screaming ghost face.
we are starting unit 3. This is a long unit, okay? This one unit will probably take us at least like 6 or 7 weeks. It just goes on and on. There's so much meat on this bone. So we're going to talk about slopes, how to look at a line and tell its equation, how to, given an equation, graph the line, vertical lines, horizontal lines, slopes of parallel lines, slope of perpendicular lines, how to write equations of lines when you're given random tidbits of information. There's a lot to do, so this will take a while. A lot of what you see in this unit will be stuff that you have seen before. We study every year how classes line up with each other, and we're very aware that between 8th grade and 9th grade math, there's a lot of overlap on the lines and slope section. So there's going to be a good mix for the next month or so of things that you go, oh, that's new, and things where you go, I remember that. So yes, you have done. 8th graders will be at a disadvantage here. So because you guys skipped the class where you would have done this. So that's okay. I teach it as if you've never done it before. So it's all good. No harm, no foul. So we're not going to really graph lines or anything here today. All we're going to do for the next couple days as we enter this chapter is we're going to get really good at a skill that we need all the time, and that is solving for y. So your goal, my goal, our goal for the next however many dozens of problems that we do together on notes or assignments, our goal is to get our answers to look like this. Okay.
What we were doing yesterday.
Right. And so yesterday was kind of a lead into this. Like, if I can, and by the way, this assignment now is not about are these or are these not linear. That's for the unit 2 test. This is everything that I'm going to give you on the worksheet today is a linear equation. It's not a question of what is it, like we know what it is. We're just going to make all of our answers look like this. And we're going to practice it a lot to the point where you might get sick of it. And when you start getting sick of something, I think that maybe is a good sign that you're pretty good at it. Okay, so the goal is to get answers that look like, and I would maybe the things I write in red right now, you know, write them down. Maybe I'm just going to kind of show you where we're headed. If we get a final answer that looks like this, nice. If we get a final answer that looks like this, great, right? The goal is to make them all say y equals mx plus b. Okay, we clear on the objective? Okay, so let's get to it. We'll start with something nice and simple. Let's say I would start writing stuff down again now. So let's say we had something like 4x plus 2y equals negative 12. The format that this equation is currently in isn't useless. It's just not what we want today. This format is called something else. It's called standard form, and we want to convert it over to slope intercept. Did I already say that? Have I said that out loud yet today? This purple thing is called slope intercept form. By the time I'm done with you in this chapter, I will hopefully have gotten across to you how to understand slope intercept form, standard form, and point slope form. The one we're going to focus on though today, the target is slope intercept. Okay, let's do it. So use your algebra sense, the practice all the time you've put in, and answer me this. What would be a good first step in this one to get y by itself? Yeah, you guys just know that, don't you? You hang out in rooms like this and do stuff like this enough, and it's just sort of wired into you now. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the 4x and we're going to subtract it. And you're going to notice a sharp decline starting today in the amount of work that I show. If it bothers you, just ask and I'll go back. But I'm going to try to do this in a more sort of visual, touchy-feely way. Rather than doing it the way we've been doing it since August, when I say that we're going to subtract 4x from both sides, what I really mean is I'm going to take the 4x off of this side and I'm going to place it right there. That's how algebra starts to work for us when we get good at it. Is we start to see that, yeah, I'm subtracting 4x from both sides, but I don't need to make a mountain out of a molehill. Those of you that don't like showing a lot of work, you know who you are. You'll appreciate this more. Now, when I write my next line down, it's going to say 2y equals blank minus 12. Do you see? Good job, Kale, or Cal. Do you see how I left an opening there? I moved the negative 12 out of the way so that the x could come land where it belongs. And so the 4x, like Cal said, when it moves, it becomes now negative 4x. If you can remember that simple rule, then algebra gets a lot easier. When you move something across an equal sign, that's fine. Just change it. Minuses become pluses, positives become negatives. Easy peasy. If that's uncomfortable for you, then you could go back to the whole minus 4x on both sides thing. No worries. What's the final step to get y by itself?
Divide by 2.
Right. Now, when we divide by 2, I'm going to be pretty picky about this. I don't want you to divide like this. And the reason is I want everyone to get their own little personalized division attention. So instead of doing one big division problem on the right, we're going to attack this one and this one separately. Because I want to get the m and the b, the slope and the y-intercept, to come out and really show themselves. So when I divide by 2, these are going to cancel and I'm left with my answer. We're done. We just have to not mess up. What's going to be the number in front of x?
-2.
Nice job, Keith. Negative 2x. And then what's going to be the number at the end?
-6.
So we just put -6. And that's what we're going for today, is we're trying to make standard form equations look like slope-intercept form equations. Nothing exciting about it at all. Let's practice again. I'm going to make this one a little bit harder this time, okay? So let's do negative 3x minus 4y equals 10. It's not the process that's harder. It's usually the things at the end that make us feel like we're doing something wrong. So what is step 1?
You add -3x.
Yeah, I mean, just move the 3x, right? And I'm going to start using that language more and more. So I'm going to get the negative 4y and just bring it straight down. And then you see that 10, I'm going to slide it off to the side, but I'm going to put a plus in front of it because it's positive, right? The 10 didn't move from the right to the left. It just got up out of the way to clear a landing zone, right? And then when I drop that x in there, what's it going to say?
3x.
It's going to say positive 3x.
Then you divide by -4.
Yes, you do. So we're going to divide, and remember that the division happens in all of the locations like this. We want to be able to see every division. So the -4s are going to cancel, and we're going to be done. Y equals. Now, what's going to be the number in front of x? It is negative. Good job, Nash, because it's a positive being divided by a negative. And then you realize, oh, crap, I can't divide 3 by 4. And what have we...
Bring the whole thing down.
Yeah, you remember, I've been trying to get this across to you for a couple months now. If you can't divide, just if fraction's fine. So let's just call it -3/4. That's great. We love that. That's a slope. That's going to be down 3, right 4. I actually kind of like it like that. And again, I go, oh, pooey, there's a 10 and a 4 trying to divide. What do I get?
The ones that
And you can call it 5/2, but I'm going to go against something that I say a lot, and I'm going to make it a mixed number. Those of you that have done this with Mr. Manlove know why it's actually good to have a mixed number there. That's where your graph will actually start. If I said to Justice, I was like, hey, Justice, I need you to go on the y-axis, go down 5 halves. She'd look at me like I was crazy.
just do that.
If I said, hey, go down 2.5, she go, oh, I could do that. So that's why this second one being a location, mixed numbers are actually pretty cool. And a decimal would be fine too. So again, I did 10 divided by 4, which is 2.5, right? Except it's negative, and that's why I put this right here. Good, good. So far, so good. Okay, let's go again. Let's do x plus 3y equals -12. ¿Qué tenemos que hacer primero? Sí.
Add the negative, or add the X.
Yep. And again, we can start using the
Subtract
word move the X, right? We're going to get that X up out of there, move it to the other side. So the positive 3y is going to drop straight down. The equal is going to drop straight down. I'm going to take Mr. Negative 12 and say, hey, scoot your booty over, clear some space. And who's going to land in that space?
Get it back.
Good job, buddy. The artist formerly known as positive X, since he moved across, is now negative X. And we got to finish the job. What are we
Divide.
gonna? Good job. So we're gonna divide here, here, and here. And I put this in my examples just because there's a thing that happens. I'll put a little yellow arrow pointing to it. That's where a lot of mistakes get made. And we'll make them today, and then let's call it done after this. So we're going to cross out these 3's and bring down the y and the equals and say, yeah, we're done, but we're not quite done. What's going to be the number where that yellow arrow is pointing?
Negative 3.
Three. Two.
That's what everybody says the first time.
3 minus.
Okay, let me ask you a different question. Right here in front, you see where I'm wiggling my pen? Is there a number there?
Yeah, it's -1.
I believe it is also. So let's forget the negative for a second. And let me ask you guys a question. If you had one pizza
Oh, it'd be
Perfect.
savory.
and there were 3 people that were going to share the pizza, you with me?
Oh, wait.
You'd probably think there was something wrong with me if I was like, oh, I got this. Everybody gets 3 whole pizzas. Does that make any sense to you?
If
No.
it was switched.
Of course, if it were switched, that's a different conversation, right? But let's think, let's not say things that are weird. If you have 1 and divide it by 3, what do you get? What does everybody get if there's 1 pizza and 3 homies eating the pizza? Now that's what I'm talking about.
Negative.
So when we put a number in front of X, it's -1/3, not -3. If I had $1 for every time someone tried to put a whole number there, I could probably pay off my house. So watch out for that, okay? Remember, small number divided by big number can never equal a whole number. It's impossible. And what's the number at the back?
The -1.
Just like that. Have I made the mission clear?
Yeah.
We're going to practice and practice and practice. And I don't want there to be, I don't want you going rogue. I don't want you like reversing these 2 terms. I'm going to try this year to stick really hard to, we're going to fit the mold to a T. Y equals XE part number part every time. I think we'll be better off as a group if we kind of stick together like that. So the time remaining for today, you have a couple of options. You got about 25 minutes or so. Option 1, you can, of course, continue to work on that practice DA for Tuesday. If that's kind of done, you can grade it. I have posted on Canvas. If you feel like you just want to break from all this function domain increasing garbage, then maybe today you just work on the new assignment. I leave that up to you. So the new assignment's on Canvas. It's just a little clicky PDF. Got it? All right, let's do it. I'll keep the recording going, but I will pause it. Maybe we could do a couple problems together. I failed to mention that left and right really don't mean anything here. But you do math enough and you start to develop habits, and when someone throws you out of that, you become uncomfortable. So I think we're all going to develop this feeling like we like our Y on the left. And so I'm down. Like, let's say that we want the Y. You would look at that and say, is the Y on the wrong side? You could make a case that it kind of is. Listen, it's all relative, but I was just talking to Surik about this, and I just want you to see how easy algebra can be. If we don't burden ourselves with having to justify everything that we do you agree that it would be nice if that was over there?
Yeah.
It'd be better. Yeah.
Then let's move it. And when we move it, let's just remember the number 1 rule, change it from -5y to 5y. Once you embrace this, algebra gets a lot easier. Now, I ask you this, if the 5y comes over here and lands on the left side, do you also agree that the 10 and the x are no longer welcome?
Yes.
Because job 1, I feel like, is for us to get the y on one side and all the other crap on the other side, correct? You could also do that, but I figure we're killing two birds with one stone here because we're getting the 5y to be a positive. But yes, you could also just literally take everything from the left and right, switch them, and pay no fee. But I'm doing this proper. Like I'm going to take that 5y and get it over there and make it positive. And you also agree that wouldn't it be nice if that x would get the heck off this side? So just move it. Just remember to pay the toll. X is now negative x. Simple. And I'm sorry to keep asking you these rhetorical questions, but gosh, wouldn't it be nice if negative 10 would get up on out of here? Then move it. You don't have to show a cute little plus 10 on both sides. We did that. We've got it stuck in our head. That's what August and September were for. We're good now. You want to move that dumb 10? Move it. Just rename it. His name is no longer negative 10. His new name is positive 10. That's how easy algebra can be. You see? And then from here, you just divide everything by 5. So I can finish it with you, but I don't think you probably need. I just wanted to take that minute of your time to show you. I look at it like juggling, like you're just literally throwing terms across the equal sign. Just go. It's fine. Just change the signs. That's all I ask. I'm going to pause this real quick. Did you have a question about this problem? Oh, then I'll keep it. What's up?
You have to switch it over,
No,
or can you just leave it like that also?
it's fine. Yes, like going all the way back, I'm gonna do some serious. I'm gonna click undo like 40 times here. I have no issues with y being on the right-hand side. So if you had wanted just to take this equation right now and divide everything by negative 5, you get down with your bad self. And what's fun is you and I are gonna get the same answer. Yours is gonna say blah, blah, blah equals y, and mine is gonna say y equals blah, blah, blah. But our blah, blah, blahs are still gonna be the same,
Okay.
unless one of us messes up. So like in your case, you're going to be done. You're going to say y equals negative 1/5 of x. That came from here. It's just what happens is we math people, we start to feel like we want things to look a certain way. And this makes a lot of people uncomfortable. I couldn't care less. So, yep. Yep.
Why would the X be on the other side of the?
Because we want it to match the model of y equals mx plus b. And so we always want the x term to go first and the number term to go second. So I took it upon myself to move this one to the front so that it would be where it's supposed to be.
Okay.
Are you with me?
Yeah, yeah. I don't think so.
You don't get them out of order. So like you would agree that this is, can we name this guy XE guy? This is XE guy, right? And this is number guy. You want XE guy to go before number guy. If you, that's what I got. I got y equals mx plus b. Would you feel better? So you're obviously going to be put the y on the left. I just figured out that you, sir, are a y on the left guy. Don't do it this way. If I just reversed this equation, if I put this on the left, it would say y equals. And if I put all this on the right, it would say negative 1/5 of x plus 2. Is that better? Same thing. You might want to stick with y on the left based on that interesting perspective you had. Pausing. Yeah. So left these out. We still wound up going over it as a class anyways last hour because someone asked, but I just didn't get it on the recording. So now I will. So I was lazy when I did the examples because I just did the ones with X's and Y's on the left, and they were always the same, move the thing, divide by the thing. Sometimes we have to think a little bit outside the box. You may not believe me if I tell you this, but this problem on the board can be solved in just one quick step. Do you know what it is? That's it. And sometimes if we think, listen, I've seen people do this problem and first off, people tend to panic because the Y's on the quote unquote wrong side. Listen, there is no wrong about it. Okay. This whole y equals mx plus b could just as well be written like this. So please don't be married to the idea that y has to go on the left. As long as you get the correct structure, left, right, nobody cares. But like Derek said, think about how awesome of a move this is. Oh my gosh. If you reach right in there and cherry pick out that minus y and pick it up with a pair of tongs and move it over and crane drop it, what does it become?
Positive y.
And the problem is over. Isn't that amazing?
That's beautiful.
So wouldn't be 3/1 to get our rise and run?
Not yet, because we're not graphing.
Oh.
So when we get to graphing, I might have you write it as up 3, right 1, but for now, we're just going for the y equals. Everybody see it?
That is absolutely beautiful. That is gorgeous. That is such taste, I think.
Let's do -6 equals 4y minus x.
-6. -6. Equals 4.
You have to decide pretty quick in this. Are you I have to put the y on the left kind of person or not? Because if you are, that's okay. Also, someone from the back of the room last hour, I know who it was. It was Nash. He said, I think it was Nash. He said, couldn't you just take, let me show you something. Would you cry foul if I did that?
No.
Does 2 + 2 = 4? So would you be mad if I switched it and wrote that 4 still equals 2 + 2?
No.
I didn't do anything illegal, did I? I didn't move anything per se. I didn't change signs. I just reflected it to maybe suit the needs of some people that are more picky. So it just know if you ever want to reflect the equation, you can just flip the left and the right. No fee. So what would you guys do to both sides here?
I would just
I'll just take this x and tuck it right there and call
Yeah.
it a day, right?
Yeah.
So we get 4y equals x minus 6. I've said this before, and I don't know if it ever makes sense. I view algebra at this level as we're starting to learn to just juggle. We're juggling terms. When you juggle balls, it's the same thing. Like you're throwing things across. The equal sign is like what you're throwing terms across. You don't like it? Chuck it over there. You don't like it? Chuck it over there. But then we got to finish the job. What do we divide by? +4. No, in this case, all I did was just move the x to this. Are you talking about when we? Yeah. So we divide by 4, right? Divide by 4, divide by 4. I couldn't have said it better myself. Y equals 1/4 of x minus 1 and 1/2. I feel like I could keep going. I'm going to take a quick look at the assignment. It doesn't have any answers on it, but I'm going to bring it up here real quick because there was one other thing that I feel like I might still be leaving out. So give me just another minute while I decide if I need to talk more or not.
You're good.
Oh, yes, there was one more thing. I'm so glad I looked. Quick question.
Mhm.
Is that in slope intercept form?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
It is. And some people are like, they get real stuck on the idea that no, it doesn't match. It doesn't match. And I always say to those people, like, listen, if you absolutely have to make it match, go ahead and put a +0. But like, understand that when it says y equals 6x, like we're good, right?
Yeah.
And so there's a question on the assignment and it's really early. It's like the second or the third problem. I think it said, oh, I'm sure. I think it says this. I think. So what's the quick, boom, short route, Cody? Just move the y, right? So just take this dumb y and say, not only can I move you to the left and satisfy that OCD craving to have you on the left, but I also, by moving you, get you away from the x and I make you positive. That's like a win-win-win. And so then the y gets to the other side and I say y equals 4x, put a box around it. Again, if you insist, you can put the +0. Nobody needs it. All right. Recording will stay live, not live, but on. If you have questions, let me know. Rest of the hour, you're either working on Unit 2 Practice DA, asking questions, or you're working on the new assignment on Canvas.
Okay, thank you so much.